In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a brand new Amazon product listing from scratch in under 20 minutes. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so why don't we jump into the computer and then we can start this tutorial. So the first thing you want to do is log into Seller Central. And then once you're logged into Seller Central, you want to come over to the menu drop down here and then come to catalog. In catalog, you then want to select add products, and that will take you to a page that looks something like this. Now, if you're listing a product that already sells on Amazon, what you want to do is you want to use this search function. However, as we are adding a new product, you want to select this little button underneath that says, I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. So the first step in the process is actually to pick the category that you want your product listing to be in. So there's two options. Either you can use this little browse function here. So let's say that you are launching a water bottle. You could come down to sports and outdoors. Where's that? Sports and outdoors. You could work your way through these categories step by step until you find the right one for your product. A quicker and easier way to do it is to use this search function. So just search the name of your product. So I'll just search here, water bottle. Amazon then will show you the matching categories, have a look through those and then pick the one that's most appropriate for your listing and for your product. So for instance, this top one's for a cycling water bottle, this one's for a cycling water bottle. So if we're just talking about a general sports water bottle, I would select this bottom category here. Once you select that category, you'll be then taken to the actual listing builder, which looks like this. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is just showing you how to create a standalone product listing. If instead you actually want to create a variation listing, so you have multiple variations that you want to be linked together, first watch this video, and then after watching this video, watch my video on how to create a variation listing, which I'll link to up here somewhere, and I'll also put down in the description. Okay guys, so let's go through each of these sections one by one. So what you'll see on the left-hand side is 3 tabs under attributes. So the top is required, one's recommended, and one's all attributes. Now, if you click the required tab, what the tool is going to do for you is it's going to show you only the tabs that are required by Amazon for you to enter to be able to save it. The minimum amount of information that you need to give Amazon to be able to save that product listing. Then obviously if you click recommended, it will be the minimum requirement plus any that Amazon recommend. And then if you click all attributes, then that will show you all of the available options. So what I'd recommend doing is just actually selecting all attributes so that you can see all of the different options out there, and that will make more sense as we go through the video. So I'm just going to come down and click all attributes. When you click all attributes, what you'll see is that there'll be several tabs at the top, which you can click between, and then each tab will have a load of data that you need to enter in for it. There'll be some that have no red outline, and those are the ones that are optional, and then there'll be some which have a red outline, and those are obviously the one that Amazon require you to enter. So let's go through these. So we want to start off by clicking on the product identity tab and then working through that first. That's what you need to do before you can click on any of the other tabs. And let's start off by talking about the title. Now guys, most of you already know this, but your title actually will show up in both the search results here and also will show up at the top of your product listing right over here on the right-hand side of your images. Also guys, in this video, I'm just going to be showing you how to actually physically build your product listing in this tool, but I'm not going to be showing you how to build the perfect title or the perfect bullet points or description or so on. If you want to learn how to build the perfect product listing for Amazon, so how to do good search engine optimization and how to build out really good titles, bullets, and descriptions for a really high conversion rate, then make sure you also watch my video on how to build the perfect listing on Amazon, which I'll link to as well up here and also down in the description. Okay guys, so the first thing you want to do is enter in your title. For now, I'm just going to enter in test title. I'm not actually going to fill one out. But just a little pro tip here, always start your title with your brand name and then actually build out your title. Next, you have this variations. Does your product have variations? You're going to click no for now because like I said, this is a standalone listing. If you were building a variation listing, you would click yes. Like I said, that's for another video. So you want to click no here, and then you want to come down and enter your brand name. Now, just so you understand, to be able to enter a brand name here and actually save this listing successfully with your brand name, you either have to have your brand approved or enrolled in Amazon's brand registry. So that's just something that's really important to know. If you do not have an approved brand, you do not have a brand enrolled in Amazon's brand registry, then what you can also do is just select this option, this product does not have a brand name. What this will do is change it to generic, and this will actually show up as generic under the brand name on your product listing on the front end. So we're gonna just click that for now so we can proceed, but you'd wanna put your brand name here if you are able to. Next, you have product ID. So firstly, on the right-hand side, you'll have this option. So either you can choose between a GTIN, EAN, GCID, UPC, or ASIN. So if you are based in the US, you're going to want to select UPC. If you're based in the UK or Europe, you're going to want to select EAN. So what this is a barcode, and these barcodes should be purchased from GS1, and these GS1 barcodes are basically product identification codes, and that's what you actually use to create your product listing. Now it's really important, those barcodes do not go on your products. If you're going to be shipping your products into Amazon fulfillment centers, you actually need to add something called an FN SKU barcode onto your product listing, onto your actual products, if you're shipping them into Amazon, and I'll show you how to do that at the very end of the video. I'll show you how to download those. So like I said, if you're in the UK or the EU, click EAN. If you're in the US, you want to select UPC here. You can then enter either those 12 or 13 digit codes here. So here's a little pro tip for you guys. If you are an Amazon private label seller and you don't sell off Amazon and you don't have a UPC or an EAN for your products and you don't want to spend the money buying them from GS1, what you can also do is apply for something called GTIN exemption on Amazon. Provided your product is branded, this is normally something Amazon will actually allow you to do, and you can apply for that exemption. And then if you get accepted for that exemption, you can select, I do not have a product ID here. And then that will allow you to actually save your listing and sell on Amazon without one of these EANs or UPCs. Once you've filled in that information, you then want to select next, and then we can move on. I don't actually have GTIN exemptions, so I'm just going to select a random EAN here to be able to continue. Then once you've filled in everything on that product identity page, you then want to select next, and it will take you to the second tab, which is the description tab. On this description tab, what you'll see is that you have a product description, bullet points, and images. Okay, so let's start off talking about descriptions. So when it comes to descriptions, there's really two types of description you can have on an Amazon product listing. The first is a standard just text description, or the second is a formatted description that has images in it that is called A+ content. So let me show you what both these two options look like. So if I scroll down on this product listing, I'll show you an example of what a standard product description just with text looks like. It will look something like this. So it's just a block of text. You can do some basic formatting, and I'll show you how to do that using a third-party tool in a sec. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty boring. It's just some text. So if you are able to do A+ content, I would recommend doing that instead. So let me show you what A+ content looks like, and you'll see how much better it looks. So if I scroll down on this product listing actually has A+ content. So you can see the product description here, instead of just being text, is actually really nicely formatted. They've got their logo, they've got product images, and by having this A+ content, it's really going to increase their conversion rate because they can convey so much more information to any purchaser, and it just looks way better. Now, the thing is, guys, you could only use A+ content if your brand is trademarked and you're enrolled in Amazon's brand registry. If you are, then I'd recommend leaving that description section blank inside the listing builder and then actually going away and creating A+ content in that part of Seller Central. If you want to learn how to do that, again, I have a video all about that, which I'll link to up here and also down in the description, which will show you exactly how to build A+ content for your listing. Now, if you're not trademarked, you're not enrolled in Amazon's brand registry, then I'd recommend just creating a standard description because that's your only choice. So your two options for creating a standard description is either you can just enter text in here. So we're just going to do text 1, 2, 3, just like that. And you'll just end up with just a solid block of text. Or your second option is to use a third-party tool to add some basic formatting. Because as you can see, you can't make anything bold, you can't do bullet points, you can't do anything like that inside Seller Central. So there's this awesome tool by Seller App, which is basically a free HTML code generating tool, which basically allows you to create a formatted description inside Seller Central. So all you need to do, and guys, I'll link this down in the description, is enter your text here on the left-hand side. So I'll do this again. But let's say I want to make that bold and I want to make it a bullet point. What the tool will then do is it'll put it into HTML code for me. You then just need to copy the HTML code, and instead of this text, just paste the HTML code inside that product description section. And that's how you create a formatted product description. Once you've done that, you then want to come down to the bullet points. And at first you'll just see one. But what you want to do is just click add more until you can have as many as possible. This is normally 5, as you can see for this category, but some categories Amazon actually allows more. So again, you guys will probably know what this looks like, but if you don't know what bullet points are, if you just scroll down just below the title over to the right-hand side of the images, this is where your bullet points will show up. Now, apart from your product images, these are really the best place to tell customers about the key selling features and benefits of your products. So guys, you get 5 bullet points. So I would recommend using all 5. So you just want to put in some text for each one. Now, in terms of length, I'd recommend around 200 characters per bullet point. The same with your title, you want that to be around 200 characters as well. With your product description, that can be around 1,000 if you want it to be that large. Just over 1,000 it is perfect for your product description if you're creating a normal text one. Just in this section here rather than A+ content. So once you've added your description and bullet points, you then want to scroll down, and the final thing in this description section is your images. So what you want to do here is just to add your images, you want to firstly just want to click upload, and then you just want to add 1 image at a time in each of these sections. Now what you'll see is that you actually have 9 image slots. So 3, 6, and 9 image slots. Now, even though Amazon actually gives you 9 image slots, only 7 of those images, the first 7, will actually show up on your product listing and actually show up on mobile as well. For anyone to see those final 2 images, they actually have to click into expanding your images, and then they can actually see them. And most customers don't actually do that. So what you want to do is make sure, I'd recommend using all of those 9 image slots if you can. But if you do that, just make sure that your most important images are in the first 7 images, because a lot of customers won't actually see the last 2. Once you've added those images, you can then move on to product details. Now what you'll see here, guys, is that there are loads and loads and loads of different options here for product details. Now only some of them have the red outline, so only some of them are required, but there are loads and loads of different options here. So to kind of cut through the noise in this section, the first thing I'd recommend doing is coming over to attributes on the left-hand side and clicking required. That's just going to show you the ones that you need to enter. Fill those out first, and then you can start having a look at the other ones and seeing if you want to enter any information for the other ones. So let's look at this one by one. So firstly, for manufacturer, here just put your brand name. So let's say your brand name is Tech Lab. That's an example I always like to use. Let's say that's the one you put your brand name. You can just put that as manufacturer as well. Country or region of origin. This is obviously where your products have been manufactured. This is mandatory now on Amazon. So for a lot of you, this is going to be China. So let's just put China. Then obviously the item dimensions. So here's just the actual dimensions of your product. So just enter those in here as well. Then you have PPU count and PPU count unit of measure. So the first thing you want to do is look at the units of measure options for you. Now, guys, this is something that's really important to understand. This is an example of me going through this process for a water bottle. Different categories will have different attributes that Amazon will require. You'll have different options. So this is an overview of what it looks like for an average product. But for every different product, you're going to come across slightly different bits of data that Amazon requires from you. And for the PPU section, here you can see that you've got the option of grams, meters, milliliters, square foot. This is going to be different depending on the product category. So what Amazon is asking you here is asking you how many of a certain unit your product has. So for example, for this water bottle, I would say 750 milliliters. This is a 750 milliliter bottle. If you're selling a 12 pack of candles, you could put 12 here, and then instead of milliliters, you can put count, for example, or you can change this to candles. So Amazon will give you some recommended ones, but you can actually put your own thing in here as well. So just put in whatever works for you. Once you've put in all of those required bits of data, then you can open up to all attributes and you can go through this list and see if there's anything else that you'd want to add. Now, there's one thing I would definitely add, and that is this search terms section here. So what are search terms? Well, essentially search terms are, you also hear some people referring them to as back-end keywords. And basically what these are is for search engine optimization. They're a place for you to enter keywords into your product listing that you don't want to show on the front end. So keywords that either you couldn't fit into your title, bullet, or description, or that you just didn't want showing up on the front end to customers. You can put those keywords in the search term section here. Amazon will index for you for those keywords, and you can actually organically rank for those keywords. So this is a key part of your product listing. So even though Amazon doesn't say it's required, I definitely would recommend using that search term section. Now, if I just scroll through this, you can see there's loads of different options like color map, part number, number of items, blah, 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 blah. There's loads of different options here. So if you can just fill out as many of these as possible, it can really be helpful for your listing. And I'll show you where these show up. So when you fill out this information, what Amazon will do is they'll choose some of these bits of information and they'll display it just under your bullet, just under your title, between your title and your bullet points right here. Let me show you another example of that. So if I go back up here, you can see there's compatibility and some other information here. That's basically where Amazon will show that extra information. So then once you've filled that out, you can move over to the Offers tab. Okay guys, so in this Offers tab, the first thing you want to enter is seller SKU. Now, even though this is not something that Amazon require from you, it's definitely something that I would add to your product listing. Now, if you've never heard of the word SKU before, SKU stands for stock keeping unit. And essentially it's a combination of letters and numbers that you just come up as a seller to help you keep track of all of your different products that you sell. So for example, if I sell a blue 750 ml water bottle, what I might do is write WB for water bottle, 750 ml for the milliliters, and then I would write green for the color. So that would be my SKU for this product. Now, obviously, if I also sold a red version, I could then also have this WB-750 red. So what you want to do is just for all of the products you sell, starting with the first product, is just come up with an SKU, a stock keeping unit code for each one of your products. Is going to allow you to keep track of all the different products that you sell. So that's the first thing you want to add in here. Then what you want to do is leave these options blank and come down to pricing. So this is just the actual selling price that you're going to sell your product for. So we can say something like $19.99. Then you'll see that here there is a sale price. Now, this is not something you want to do when you're creating your listing, but in the future, if you want to do a strike through pricing, so $19.99 strike through, and let's say $15.99 showed underneath, then this is where you'd add it. So in the future, you could come back into this product listing, write $15.99 as your sale price, and then add a start date and an end date for that sale. But for now, we're going to leave that blank. Then you want to come down to condition type and select obviously the appropriate one for you. For most of you watching this, you're going to want to select new because you're going to be selling new products. For new products, you don't need to add any condition note. For a used product, if you click used here, let's say like new, then you'll have to add in a condition note basically talking about the condition of the product for any of those used options. But for new, you won't need to put anything in there. Then if we keep going down, you've got max order quantities. Now you can see none of these are highlighted in red, so you don't need to add anything for these, but I'm just going to go through some of them. So you've got maximum order quantity. Now I actually would recommend entering a number in here. And the reason for this is that if you have no maximum order quantity, someone can come along, for instance, a competitor of yours who's trying to be a bit nasty, they can come along, potentially order 100 units of your stock, damage loads of them, return them to Amazon damaged, say that they arrived damaged, whatever. There's just horrible tactics that competitors can use to try and damage your business. So to stop people doing that, what you want to do is select a max order quantity of maybe, let's say, something like 20. That's what I would recommend. Then for handling time, you can leave this blank if you're going to be selling via FBA because Amazon's going to be doing the handling. Then you have gift wrapped and gift messaged. Now, if you're going to be selling through FBA, yes, you want to select yes for both of these options. It doesn't cost you anything as a seller. Amazon just charges the buyer for this. So it doesn't cost you anything as a seller and it just allows more options to the customers. So why would you not do it? So then you just want to click yes for those two and then leave everything blank. The only other thing you can do here if you want is add a minimum order quantity. So if you only want people to buy a minimum of 2 or 3, then you can do that in this section here. That is mostly helpful if you are fulfilling yourself, so you're merchant fulfilled and it just costs you too much to ship one. Maybe you only allow people to buy 3 at a time to help with that shipping cost. That's an option that you can do there. If you're doing FBA, I'd probably leave that blank unless you have a specific reason. Then what you want to do is select the fulfillment channel. So if you're going to be selling by FBA, you can select this fulfillment by Amazon option. If you're going to be fulfilling yourself, then you want to select this merchant fulfilled option. Most of you watching this are going to be fulfilling by Amazon, so you want to select this bottom option here. Now we can move on to the last tab, which is the safety and compliance tab. Now what you can see is that there is no safety and compliance information that's required from Amazon to save this listing. So if I click on required, you can see the tab actually just disappears completely, but let's have a quick look at it anyway. You might also notice, guys, that I've got these error messages coming up on Amazon. The reason why these error messages are coming up is because I've just put in a random EAN, which is not real, and Amazon's actually seen that it's not a real one, and that's why I'm getting these error messages. If you follow everything I'm doing correctly, then obviously you won't get those error messages. So let's look at this last tab, safety and compliance. So Again, none of these are required. However, for your category, some of these things may be required, such as battery information is often required. But basically, just have a look through this. Again, fill in as much information as you can. The more information, that's better. And yeah, if any of these are required, obviously enter in those required parts of the data. Then once you've done that, you can then click submit, and then Amazon will actually go ahead, save your listing. And then what you'll find is it normally takes around 10 to 15 minutes before Amazon actually approves your listing and your listing goes live. So don't worry if you click that submit button and you can't see your listing in your inventory section straight away. It can take about 10 or 15 minutes. But once that goes live, you'll then be able to click into it. You'll also be able to see it on the front end. You'll be able to edit that listing and make any changes you want in the future as well. Now, as promised, earlier in the video, I also said that I would show you how to download the FNSKU barcode once you've created your listing to be able to apply that barcode on to your products, either as labels or incorporate it into your product packaging. So let me show you how to do that. Then once you've saved your product listing, what you then want to do is inside Seller Central, you want to go to inventory and manage all inventory. Then you'll actually see the new product listing you've created. Once you can see that product listing, over on the right-hand side, you'll see this action drop-down button here. You want to click on that action drop-down button, and then you'll see something that says print item labels. When you click that button, what it will do is Amazon will actually generate your FNSKU barcode. You can actually then save that or print it, and then you can then apply that barcode to your product listing. So guys, I hope you found this video useful. Hopefully it's allowed you to actually successfully create a brand new product listing on Amazon. If it has, please give the video a like. Also consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.